This is going to be one cool next project. Morning. Welcome back to another episode of KMD Rail Yard. Part 2 of the F-Series Rock Island, Marx, Athern, pretty much everybody's in this party. Rebuilding, getting it back on the rails. Going to show you how I finished up the front end of it and get it on the track. Give it a little push, see how many cars we can get it to haul comfortably. And also, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek on what the next project's going to be. Hint, it's going to be coming out of this really cool yellow box. All right, let's get started. All right, guys, back on the workbench. Going to walk through what I did on how to make this front nose piece. It's very simplistic, as you can see. Only some sheet plastic and a couple of pieces of wire, 30 thousandths thick, to simulate the hinges for the door, the coupler door. Now on the F-Series, I haven't really seen it with coupler doors. I looked online on Rock Island, real life pictures and videos, and I didn't see it, but I decided on this one, I wanted it anyways, kind of pulled the artistic license of the whole deal. So basically all I did was I took a sheet of this plastic and the wooden buck that I described about in the intro video of the channel, and I warmed the plastic up with a heat gun very carefully because the heat can get away from you and this thin plastic will warp really fast. So then after I heated it and it was still warm, I wrapped it around like this and I held it there until it cooled down. And once this plastic cools down, you can be pretty much guaranteed it'll keep its shape. And then the next thing I did is I took one smaller piece, and with this one I just kind of manipulated and molded a little bit till it got to the general shape of the front end. After I glued it on, I then got where center was, and I just used a tip of a file and scratched in where the two doors would meet. And then afterwards, after I glued it all together, I made a second piece on the bottom here to kind of give it a little more shape to it. It looked pretty plain with just one flat piece of plastic. But after I did those three pieces, I then took a little piece of 30 thousandths wire, cut it to size, and glued them together to simulate the hinges. That's pretty much all there is to it. It don't look too terribly bad. Sorry about the light here. Kind of a gloomy day. But it looks pretty. It turned out pretty decent. Now the next time you see this, I will have it in paint. I'm going to paint it off camera, let it dry really good. That way I don't be a klutz and I get my fingers in it and then I got a nice big old thumbprint or something in it. All right, got it back on the rails. Front end's all painted up. Didn't turn out too terrible. The paint's a little more flat than I thought it was going to turn out, but you know what? That's okay. It's back together. It looks pretty good. And you don't have to be ashamed of looking at her front end anymore. All right, let's get her going. I've got 15, I believe it's 15 cars, including the B unit. Let's see how well she'll pull. All right, she didn't do too bad. Looked pretty good going around the board. Pulls really good for only being one powered unit. The B unit is a dummy. So I think that's a win on this little project. We are going to come back to this project. I did find a couple of detail kits in my stash, so maybe we'll come back to it and add some more details to it. And stuff like brake lines, air lines, stuff like that. I think it'd be just a fun project to take something that looks more toy, throw a little detail into it, and have fun. Let's go back to the workbench. I'll let you know what's our next project's going to be. It's going to be a fun one. Okay, next project sneak peek. Yellow box. Yellow box means Hobbytown of Boston, as you can clearly see. These are really cool kits. They're not your normal model railroad kit. I'll show you why. Because of this right here. It's not just the flywheel, but I've just found out recently that it's also a centrifugal clutch inside. So as you ramp the power up on this on the motor, it spreads out a rubber cone inside there, and then it starts gripping the flywheel and slowly starts spinning it, kind of like a real locomotive. Pretty neat for its time. It's still available in parts, and Hobbytown is still in business, and they still do sell replacement pieces for this setup. So this is going to be a really cool next project. Also, it came with an Elko body. Fits on the chassis pretty well. What's really nice about it, unpainted, undecorated, clean slate, which means I have a feeling I'm going to have my first Rock Island Elko, which ain't a bad thing. So, that's what the sneak peek's going to be on the next episode. This one, pretty much, this episode's pretty much done. So, I'm glad you watched, and can't wait for you to see the next one. All right. Have a good day. Have a good week. Take care.